Hey guys, Storm here. So this week's challenge is a blueberry acerglyn. So how do you go about making an acerglyn? There are two kind of main thoughts for it. One, you can put the syrup in primary or in secondary. I am firmly in camp secondary. I think it is extremely expensive sugar to be using in primary, and I don't think it adds a lot. If you happen to have a barrel of maple syrup that you just got, by chance, or if you really like setting your money on fire, you can do some great stuff with it in primary. I've had some really talented brewers who have made some really, really impressive meads with it using all the sugars being purely maple. It's great. You need a huge final gravity to support some of the tannins. It's very woody, so you have to keep it sweet. Otherwise, it tastes weird once you've gone and fermented out all the sugar. But it can be good. Most people aren't going to want to do that. We're looking to make something that's affordable, um, but still very impressive. And so then after you've gone and hit your final gravity, maybe you're fermenting dry on honey. I'd still leave some honey there to give it some character because I like the blend between the two, but you could go either way. Maybe you ferment all the way dry and then back sweeten from there. So let's say you've got the blueberries too. Now, do you do those in primary? Do you do those in secondary? And it depends on what kind of flavor you're looking for. If you want there to be, the strong maple as the foremost, and then with a little bit of blueberry afterwards, maybe you want the blueberry to be more bright. Maybe you don't need more tannin in it. Blueberry can be a little tannic, depending on the pH balance of the final mead. And it depends on how much you use. Maybe this is a chance to do a no water blueberry mellow that you're throwing more and more in on top of it, more syrup, more. I'm going to do it a little bit differently than that. I have this stuff. Amaretti extracts are great for things that it's like a supporting note. Um, I'm going to try a sample of it here to make sure I actually like it. And maybe it doesn't click right and I want to go do real fruit, but I've had really, really, really good luck with the blueberry, blackberry, cherry, boysenberry, a couple of the other ones like that. Whereas I haven't with, say, the orange and others like the lychee berry and whatnot. But the kind of traditional Midwest fruits, dark berries and stuff like that, I've been really happy with it. So what kind of honey do you use on this? I'm going to use melter honey because that's what I've got tons of, and I'm just on a huge Bochet kick right now. I love Bochets. I can never have enough of them. I've never done a Bochet Acerglyn, so that's what we're going to do. Here is my must from last month's challenge. It's going just fine. It's around 17.5%. It's still a little lower than I wanted. I was hoping to get the final gravity to around 104, and it's a little higher than that, but not by much. So it'll be a great base for me to go blend some other stuff on, and I'm going to do another 16 gallons of it here this month, using my other 60 pounds of honey. So I've got a little bit of the blueberry measured out, and I've never tried this flavor combo before. I think it's going to be pretty good, but it's very easy just to sample things beforehand if you're doing some stuff with extracts to make sure that you like how the whole presentation is. So a little bit of log cabin, and I am not going to use a crappy syrup like that. I have my trees tapped outside right now. I was hoping to do this demonstration with those, but it's not working out. Fortunately, I do have good flow now. I had to re-drill the holes, get them a little deeper. It's just a thick bark on the tree, so I had them set wrong, and they're going great now. I'm getting about a gallon a day in each of my buckets, and it is a interesting process. My first time doing it. We'll see how it goes. With kind of the caramel notes in this, and then the maple and the blueberry. Oh yeah, yeah, I can see where that's going, and I think that's going to be really interesting. Probably a little bit more blueberry than I had in there, but not by much. The extracts are extremely powerful. This bottle was like, I don't know, 30 bucks, and it's probably enough for 20 gallons of mead. And that's with a strong blueberry flavor. You probably could stretch it out to 40 if you wanted a supporting blueberry flavor like I want in this. I didn't put a ton of impact on the color, but I think once it clears up, it's still in primary really right now, it would have a little bit more of a blue hint from that. Mm. Yeah, but the tartness, the natural, a little bit more smoky and earthy flavors from the Bochet are coming through really well and are supporting the maple syrup pretty well. We'll see. What I think I'm going to try to do if I do this again next year, now that my time has run out a little bit on this, is try to do all sap in primary, no water. And you can't use the sap straight as it comes out of the tree because it's super, super thin. But you also don't need to boil it so long that it's condensed down to, normal syrup strength. Condense it down to the specific gravity you need, plus your honey contribution, so that you don't need to add any water. I mean, it can only help the aromatics, I suppose. Um, we'll see how it goes. I still got to figure out how much I'm gonna get. I'm getting about like I said, a gallon a day in my buckets, and if I get 15, 20 gallons when it's all said and done, that's enough for a good sized batch of this. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to pull it off and just do this as a 1 gallon taster, which for experimenting probably is a better idea in the first place. But yeah, go big or go home, I suppose. So other considerations with a mellow that you're doing all this other stuff in, the final gravity can make a huge impact on how your fruit presents. So you want to make sure that you've got enough tartness from the fruit to balance this final gravity. My final gravity is going to be around 106, which isn't too uncommon for my Bochet's. I like them pretty sweet. And that's going to be getting 15 points of FG from syrup, and then the rest is going to be from the caramelized honey in the first place. The nice thing about using extract brewing is that it won't affect your FG. So if you need to increase the acidity and the tartness, you can just add more of that. If you're doing it with whole fruit in secondary, um, adding more fruit, even if you've already hit your yeast ABV tolerance, probably will cause re-fermentation and then decrease your sugars in the end, since there's so much water added. Um, anyhow, that's kind of the long and short of Acerglyns. They're not too complicated. To wrap it up, maple in secondary. Choose whether or not you want to do blueberries in primary or secondary, and then plan your final gravity accordingly with your sugar addition, or well, honey as it is. And I would always, always, always recommend this particular style to plan it on it being a little bit sweeter, a little bit boozier, and you can get some really, really fun flavors coming out of it. Anyhow, thanks for your time.